Hello, in this video I will show you how to make a Parmesan chicken pasta to feed a family of 4. This pasta is a great budget meal with tons of flavor and can be made by an entry-level cook. In order to make this dish, you should have some experience cooking chicken as well as boiling pasta. Other than these two skills, the process is rather straightforward and easy to follow. All in all, this dish can be made in an hour or less depending on your comfort with doing multiple tasks simultaneously. The first thing we're going to do when making this dish is prepare the chicken. It needs to be seasoned before it is cooked to add flavor to the pasta. This step is subjective to how you would like your chicken to taste. I start off by sprinkling about a teaspoon of fresh ground pepper, basil, and chicken bouillon on the tenderloins, making sure to rub it in on all the surfaces. Next, I take a 12-inch skillet with high walls and pour in enough oil to coat the bottom of the pan. This is usually between 1 and 2 tablespoons. We're then going to set the burner to a low-medium heat and begin to cook your chicken. The chicken should be cooked in between 5 and 7 minutes on each side depending on the temperature of your burner. You want a nice brown, crispy exterior. That way it's not too mushy later on. You also want to make sure that you don't overcook your chicken as it will become dry and tasty. As you can see, the edges of the chicken are beginning to whiten. This means that it's cooking on the bottom. And if you look at the underside, they're starting to brown a little bit. That's what we're looking for. So you can go ahead and flip your chicken and go ahead and let it cook for another 5 to 7 minutes depending on how hot your burner is. Once your chicken's cooked all the way through, go ahead and remove it from the skillet to let it rest. If you cut your chicken immediately after it has been cooked, more of the juices will end up escaping and dry out your chicken. While your chicken is resting, take the same pan you cooked it in and add another tablespoon or so of oil. And then go ahead and add in your pasta. We're going to brown the pasta before we cook it in order to add a bit of a nutty flavor as well as give it an al dente texture to it. The heat should remain on low for this process, and the noodles need to be stirred every minute or so to prevent one section from burning. This usually takes between 10 and 15 minutes, but it can end whenever you feel your noodles are brown enough. Once you've browned your noodles to a degree of your liking, add in the box of chicken broth and bring it to a boil. Simmer the pasta until all of the broth has been absorbed and boiled off. While your pasta is simmering, you can also begin cutting your chicken into bite-sized pieces as it should have been sitting for a sufficient amount of time. The onion and serrano peppers can also be diced. In order to dice an onion, you're going to cut both of the ends off first, and then peel the rest of the skin off. Go ahead and cut your onion in half once you've finished peeling it. You're going to take each half and cut it this way. And you're going to turn it sideways and cut it in the other direction. In order to dice a serrano pepper, you cut the stem off and then cut lengthwise into quarters. Now you're going to go from the end and cut it into little cubes. Towards the end of the simmering process, taste the noodle to make sure they are cooked enough. If they're still a little stiff or crunchy, cover the skillet with a lid for the remainder of the process. And if this isn't enough, add a little more chicken broth and continue to cook until there is little liquid left and the noodles are soft. Now that the noodles are done, the chicken, onion, and serranos can be added in along with the butter. Go ahead and stir everything together, and you're going to wait for your butter to melt. At this point you can add in the rest of your basil and oregano and make sure you mix everything together. Once everything's all mixed in and your butter's all melted, go ahead and add all of your heavy cream and bring this to a gentle boil. Now that our cream sauce is boiling, we're going to go ahead and add in our Parmesan. You can use shredded Parmesan or just powder if you prefer. Either way, doesn't make that much of a difference. Once your cheese is totally melted, you're going to go ahead and add spinach onto the top. You can add as little or as much as you like, and I tend to do this in multiple stages. So you add a little bit, and then you're going to want to cover it up, and that way it can begin to wilt a little bit. And you can mix it in better. Make sure you also periodically stir your pasta as the leaves are wilting, otherwise it'll begin to stick to the bottom of your pan. And once it's cooked to however you would like with the amount of spinach you want, it's ready to serve.